A disturbing coincidence.
We have not found any connection between the two coaches whatsoever.
Two coaches from the same Colorado soccer club arrested on very similar heinous charges within weeks of each other.
It's very concerning when you have somebody that deals with children.
Feeling like their voices are being silenced.
I was absolutely shocked. I think we were making so much headway in the last few months.
What's behind Denver's move to shut down the advisory committee meant to guide the city's STAR program?
At this point, I'm not sure what DDPHE can do to rectify it.
It's clear people in Colorado need affordable housing.
I hope I get a Section 8 voucher. It's stressful.
Now Denver has a plan to expand voucher programs. Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Denver 7 News at 6. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Jessica Porter. The Real Colorado Soccer Club covers more than 450 youth teams in Highlands Ranch, Parker, and Castle Rock.
And within the past month and a half, 2 coaches who work for the club have been arrested on allegations of possessing child pornography.
Denver 7's Patrick Perez dug deeper into the arrests that came about thanks to tips from social media companies.
2 youth soccer club employees arrested weeks apart for the same disturbing crime after months-long investigations.
It's very concerning when you have somebody that deals with children.
Arapahoe County Sheriff's deputies first arrested 63-year-old Howard Bud Harper on August 10th, accusing him of sharing child pornography on the messaging app Kik. At the time, he was an age coordinator for the Real Colorado Soccer Club and had also worked as a coach. He's facing 17 counts of sexual exploitation of children.
It would have been 17 images were sent through the social media provider or through the internet to somebody else.
Now, weeks later, deputies have arrested another employee of the same soccer club, 54-year-old Iberto Limas Villers. He is accused of sharing child porn on Facebook. In both cases, Deputy Sheriff John Bartman says the content did not contain any soccer club players.
These are known child pornographic images that are known to the industry in terms of law enforcement.
Despite both men working for the same soccer club, Bartman says it's just a coincidence.
We found no connection between the arrest in August and the arrest yesterday. We have not found any connection between the two coaches whatsoever.
A spokesperson for Real Colorado told Denver 7 the men's arrest had nothing to do with its program. Both are suspended. In a statement, the spokesperson says, "We take players' safety seriously and our coaches are required to undergo regular background checks conducted by the Colorado Soccer Association. Additionally, as a member of U.S. Soccer, our coaches complete training annually through the U.S. Center for Safe Sport to educate them on how to prevent, recognize, and respond to situations of abuse, neglect, and harassment." Again, while investigators right now don't believe any soccer club players were involved, if you are a victim or if you know someone who is, contact the Sheriff's Office at 720-874-8477. They would like to hear from you. In the studio, I'm Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
And we realize for parents it can be impossible to vet or know the background of everyone your child interacts with. Well, I dug deeper and found an informative article written by RAINN, which is the nation's largest anti-sexual violence organization. And RAINN says the most important thing that parents can do is keep an open line of communication with your kids. And that can be key to knowing if your child has any reservations or maybe hearing rumors about a person in a position of trust. It's also important to encourage your child to speak up and know their boundaries. So if you or anyone you know needs to talk with a mental health professional, you can call Colorado Crisis Services, and that number is there on your screen. You can also text the word TALK to 38255.
Well, right now, you're taking a live look at Daytona Beach, Florida, as Hurricane Ian continues to hammer the Florida coastline. Ian made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane and is creating tornado-like conditions throughout the state with winds of more than 140 miles per hour.
Also, floodwaters are reaching 6 feet high in certain areas. And you can see in this video, fire crews in Naples, they're having to wade through floodwaters just to get to their rescue equipment. Right now, more than 1.3 million people in Florida are without power, and it is estimated that hundreds are now trapped in their homes and they're just waiting out this storm. So let's bring in Mike Nelson now, who's tracking the hurricane's path.
Mike, right now, Hurricane Ian is showing no signs of slowing down.
Well, it's weakening a little bit, but it's so strong, it's going to be a long time before it's done causing damage. Came in off of 85-degree Gulf of Mexico water temperatures, and that really fed that storm into a monster as it came on shore earlier today around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That parallelogram in red, that is a tornado watch. It's on the eastern side of the state. As the storm spins, the thunderstorms swirl as well and inspire smaller circulations that can cause tornadoes. This is the track of the storm. It's now down to a Cat 3. It'll weaken to a 1 as it goes over Orlando, turn into a tropical storm, but then it moves all the way up into the Carolinas over the course of the weekend. And with that comes huge amounts of rain, not only for Florida, but for Georgia, South Carolina, all the way up into the Virginias. And there'll be lots of flash flooding, not only in Florida, but all the way up across the southeast coast as this storm gradually winds down, but has a long ways to go.
Just about 2 weeks ago, we went in depth about Denver's lottery for Section 8 housing, which is the federal program to get low-income households into affordable homes. And the city anticipated more than 20,000 people would apply. I followed up with the city today and found that nearly 24,000 people applied during that 24-hour application period. Out of the nearly 24,000 entries, the city will only select about 1,500 applicants to enter the lottery and then receive instructions on how to start the housing application. And listen to this, out of all of those applications, the city will only pick 500 who qualify for Section 8 housing. The city tells us it will select the first applicants who qualify by November 1st.
And digging deeper tonight, earlier this week, Denver released its 52-page housing and homelessness plan for 2023. In the plan, I found the city specifies it will use a portion of its $250 million in funds to implement locally funded housing voucher programs. That will supplement the federal Section 8 housing vouchers that are distributed through the housing lottery and could get families into the city-owned hotels. Now, the city hopes to get those local vouchers up and running within the next 2 years.
Denver's STAR program has changed the way the city handles public safety by sending mental health professionals instead of officers to certain calls for help. However, the city has now shut down the committee that was meant to guide the program's success.
As committee members tell Denver 7's Micah Smith, they feel that this is just the latest push to get the community's voice out of Denver's STAR program.
Someone experiencing a mental health emergency calls 911, and counselors show up instead of police officers. This is the goal of Denver Support Team Assisted Response Program, or STAR, and it's been held up as an alternative to policing for the entire nation.
You know, it's really difficult to reconcile the positive media that STAR gets with what's really happening behind the scenes.
STAR Community Advisory Committee member Vinny Cervantes says over the past few months, the relationship between committee members who created STAR and Denver's Department of Public Health and Environment that runs the program has been strained.
I am going to end the meeting.
After a DDPHE employee abruptly ended this July meeting following a racism allegation within STAR, I sat down with DDPHE's Executive Director Bob McDonald, who said he would continue working with the committee to resolve issues. But Cervantes says recently McDonald canceled meetings between DDPHE and the advisory committee until further notice.
Really ruins the integrity that Bob had built with our committee and the meetings that we've had with him. I think DDPHE was prompted in this move because they're uncomfortable with some of the conversations that we've had.
A few weeks ago, my dear friend called me and said that their brother was having a mental health crisis and that they were locked in the bathroom and they were contemplating doing some harm to themselves. And I told them that, you know, there is a program that will show up and not send police, and they will send mental health responders to help. A STAR responder did not show up. The Denver Police Department showed up.
Advisory Committee member Miguel Ceballos says DDPHE is silencing the community's concerns about situations like these.
And it makes me really suspicious as like, what are people trying to, like, what are they trying to cover up? Why get rid of us?
In response to the meeting cancellations, DDPHE says the meetings aren't canceled indefinitely, but, quote, DDPHE will not be convening SCAC meetings for the next couple of months while we work to create an equitable structure with clear and consistent processes by which the roles and responsibilities of the advisory committee and the department are plainly defined.
We are trusted community members. I grew up in Montbello.
Ceballos and Cervantes say the committee wants to make sure the program is operating as intended, and they want the community to know right now it's not. Reporting in Denver, Micah Smith, Denver 7.
And let's take this a step further now. Earlier this month, Denver City Auditor released a report saying the city failed to spend $383,000 meant to support the co-responder program. And that is the program that sends mental health specialists along with officers on calls. The program is in partnership with a nonprofit called WellPower, which also helps run the STAR program. The Department of Public Safety says the audit didn't take into account the many factors like the pandemic and staffing shortages that prevented them from tapping into that money.
You feel like your world's away out here.
Bringing tropical vibes to the very landlocked state of Colorado.
You gotta feel like a VIP when you walk in.
The owner behind an iconic Denver restaurant changes his mind.
Instead of tearing the place down, the restaurant gets a new name and a facelift.
I just got more and more motivated, and here is the end result.
Plus, demand is through the roof to see the Avs this upcoming season.
And Russell Wilson responds to the shade from Eli Manning.
They should have paid that punter $235 million instead of Russell.
I'm 3-0 against Chad Bowers, you know. I've always looked up to those guys, so I'm not stressing about it.